Ladies and gentlemen,
brothers and sisters,
it's time for bass history in the mix.
This is a journey into sound.
Pump up the volume.
I know you're gonna dig this.
bass. Yeah, boy.
Give me a funky ass bass line.
That's my man throwing down. That's my man throwing down.
But over in Brazil, it is it's crazy, and like in Germany and all over there, it's just a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? Because they realize, what started that whole culture, that whole genre of music, and it's just basically like that's Florida.
Yes, sir. And that's the reason for this show. That's the reason for this podcast, is to give credit to the bass pioneers, to give credit to the people that laid the foundation, to give credit to the people that built the table that the Rick Ross and the City Girls eat off of. The ones that built the
Real
table,
talk.
because there was no table.
That's right.
There
Real
was
talk.
no table to sit at. Y'all
right.
built the tables, y'all built the chairs, y'all built the building
That's right.
with this
Real
bass
talk.
music. And it's important that we document it and we let the people know that this is where it started at. And it did not, much respect to Luke, but it did not start there. And that's the
Not at
reason,
all.
again, why I wanted to do this podcast. That's the reason why I wanted to have you on here. And like Devastator did before on the show, to set the record straight. It's not about it's no hate. It's just about setting the record straight.
It's
It's no
keeping it
hate.
real.
It's just about setting the record straight, because I call myself like a historian. So if I'm a historian, I got to tell the story correctly. And that was the point of digging and finding, looking at the dates of the record. What date did this come out? Where did they get this from? Right, because we didn't even get into the whole ghetto jump thing and where that came from and where the idea and all that came from. We didn't even get into that, right?
Exactly.
So it's deep, and it's important that we let the people know where it came from, so they don't think that this is where it started at. You got to go back to the root. You got to dig down. Don't just look at the building. You got to look at the foundation.
That's right, because ghetto jump and that whole melodic line, everybody get it all twisted, but that happened and came along because we were doing those melodic themes. We were doing those kind of samples, and we came like you said with Green Acres, you know what I'm saying? And then right after that, it was like we went out the studio and they came right in behind us, and then they did the Wild Wild West theme.
Everybody ghetto jump.
I mean, this is not a coincidence. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that's how Ghetto Jump came along. But, they like to tell that story all kind of ways, but, you can't beat the facts. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
because
sir.
It wasn't here. It didn't exist before we did what we did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's important to know that. And again, no hate. We just setting the record straight.
Yeah, ain't no hate. It's just straight up, and ain't nobody can really say nothing about it because you can't argue with the truth. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do that. You can tell your story and your fabrications, but when you got somebody that can come in and tell you what's really happening and what really happened, I dare anybody. You understand what I'm saying? To say something different. Because I'm giving it to you raw. I'm giving it to you like it happened. Because there was nothing else going on. And it's not like I knew or we knew this was going to turn out like this. It did turn out like this. It did become the thing. It did become a trend and the wave and all of that, or whatever you want to say, and create a whole genre of music where boom, this is what we're known for all over the world now. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? As
Yes, sir.
Floridians, you know what I'm saying? We
Yes,
didn't
sir.
anticipate that, but it happened. It happened, and that's the truth behind it. And we were blessed to be able to do it. The Father gave us, the green light to be able to be the ones to do that.
Yes,
So I'm
sir.
thankful.
Yes, sir. And we're thankful that y'all did do it. We're thankful that your dad and had the foresight, pun intended,
Boom, boom.
had the foresight to say, hey, something is going on here. Let me try to put and make this thing be bigger than what it is. And like we was talking off air, I had the pleasure to work for your dad. And it inspired me, to be an entrepreneur and to get into things and to try to, make me a piece of money when he come pay us after the end of the day. It makes you want to, it motivates you. You know what I'm saying?
Real tough.
He was humble, but his walk and his presence was big, and he didn't have to brag about himself, but his walkings just was kind of braggadocious. It was just his character. And again, he was ahead of his time with selling the records and selling the tapes and all this type of stuff. He was ahead of his time with having the record store, and then y'all going to the studio to him having his own studio. So he was ahead of his time to have a record store with a studio in the back. This is ahead of our time type stuff, man. And it was just an honor it's an honor and a pleasure to have you, man, because again, I worked for your dad. I always was hanging out at the mall. Always was at the record store, man. Many a days skipping school to be the first one to buy a record, just so we could take it home, put it on tape, to get back to school by lunchtime to play it in the car and beat the new record. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was brand new. We used to skip school. We go to the record store at 9:00, buy the record, go home, put it on cassette tape. I had a friend out of Lakeview, shout out to Lakeview Apartments. They no longer there. And he had a system in his car, so lunchtime we'll give him the tape and he'll play the brand new song. And man, we used to just love it. Mr. Hines, like I said, was an inspiration to me. Taught me about business at a young age. This middle school time when I was working for him. And he taught me about business and being accountable and being on time and all these types of things that a man need to know, not having a father, you know what I'm saying? He showed me a lot of things. And I appreciate him, but we also appreciate you for being, a pioneer in this bass thing, to say, hey, man, turn that bass up. Hey, I like it, but can you put the bass up a little bit more?
Okay.
Can you turn it a little bit louder? Can you do it like this? And we thanking you for that and having the ingenuity and again the foresight to do that. And when y'all was going in the studio to make Bass Rock Express, to make Bass Mechanic, was it just a regular day, I'm just going to do this, or did you say, hey man, I'm finna make a record that's gonna last for 35 years?
With Bass Rock Express, it was just my dad asking me to make a record because I had produced Beefbox. You dig what I'm saying? And it was a hit. So he was like, you the one really made that record. Why don't you make a record? I'm like, okay. So for me, it wasn't even, I had no clue. You know what I'm saying? But because my mom had a store in Miami, you know what I'm saying, in Overtown. And we had a jukebox in there. So I used to just, we used to listen to all of the music for free. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to Off the Wall and James Brown and all the hits. You dig what I'm saying? All day long. You dig? So, and then, listening to EDR. So I was just music. You dig what I'm saying? And then when I got at the record store, that was like going to college for me. You know what I'm saying? And now, cause I started working in there when I was 11. And I'm like around all this music and I'm hearing nothing, so I'm all the hottest music. So it just, that was education that I didn't even realize I was getting at the time. So I was learning from the best, you know what I'm saying? And so when it came time for me to do a record, I was just all that I heard, all that I knew, you know what I'm saying? I just, formulated it and spit it back out. You
Yeah.
dig what I'm saying? So yeah, Bass Rock Express was just like, it was just a vibe, man. I just went off vibe. I just went off how I felt. But I felt that from all my education, in music. And Bass Mechanic, same way. All my music is just same way. It's just a vibe. That's why it's so much continuity in my music.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was a feel. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I said, Foresight Records put out so many different artists, so many different groups. Y'all even put out some friends of mine from Atlanta called USA Breakers. Y'all even
Yeah.
put a
Yeah.
record out on
Yeah.
them. So it was
Real
so
talk.
much that Foresight's had did, man, and I'm so wrapped up in the history of Foresight's also being cool with Devastator. That was also part of
Yeah,
Foresight's at one time.
Devastator.
Um,
Devastator was, intricate part in the Miami music. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he made one of the biggest records with that "Shake What Your Mama Gave You." You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
I
yes.
mean, that was a record. That's a record that transcended through time. You know what I'm saying? It's so monumental, and with him on there, shake what your mama gave ya. You know what I'm saying? Him and JT, that, Devastator, he came down and he soaked up game and he spit it right out. You know what I'm saying? And he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? So Devastator, he came to town and he worked and he gave it all he got.
Just give it all you got. Give it all you got. Give it all you got.
Just like the
Yeah.
song, he gave it all of that. Give it all you
Yeah.
got. Give it all you got. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Salute the Devastator. Yeah,
Salute the
real talk.
Devastator, man. Salute the Devastator, man. Also salute the MC Shadi, another person that I
Yeah.
call friend. That
Yeah.
spent some time on Foresight's record. So shout out to MC Shadi.
Yes, sir.
Again, another shout out to my neighborhood hero, Gigolo Tony, the one
Yes,
and only,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
And then again, man, I can't thank you enough for joining us. It's been an honor and a pleasure. We got some real good information. We got some real history tonight. We learned a lot, and we done went all the way back to the beginning of the bass. We done went all the way back to the origin, to the genesis of this
That's
thing
right.
that we call bass, and it's right here with MC ADE, man. And we thank you, man. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Yes, sir, man. Make the people know where they can find you at on social media.
They can find me on Facebook at MCADE Bass Mechanic. They can find me on Instagram, MCADE Creator of Miami Bass. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
That's where they
sir.
can find. Yeah, and check out that book. Um, What is the Soul?
Yes,
What is the
sir.
Soul by Adrian T. Hine. Very important, man. Out of anything I've done or what have you, that is the most important thing out of my life. Is to spread that word, spread that gospel, because that's our number one job. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And that's the most important thing I ever did in my life. The music and stuff, that was easy to me. That just, you know, that was a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? But that word and being able to put, it's not a big book. You know what I'm saying? It's a little book, but the fact of me being able to, you know, uh, give something, to hopefully to be pleasing to the Father. You know what I'm saying? That can help me to get, my name in that book, or you understand what I'm saying, to get him to look
Yes.
my way.
Yes, sir.
Man, you know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? Hey, man, that's
Yes,
that's
sir.
that's
Yes,
more than
sir.
anything I could ever ask for, and the best thing I could ever do. So I
Yes,
just
sir.
hope that is pleasing to him, you know, and that he give me, you know, time and inspiration and motivation to do more, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we appreciate you, and we appreciate that, man. And we always keeping God first and thanking God in all things that we
I'm
do.
trying to tell you.
It's spreading the word to the youth is very, very important. It's our number one job that we can change the thought process of our youth, then we can change the
That's right.
whole landscape of the country, man.
That's
It
right.
will be
That's right.
bigger and better things. So we thank you for that. And you know, next time, man, y'all make sure y'all check us out here on the Bass Show, where we bringing y'all nothing but the bass legends. We bringing y'all the real stories from the people that was there, that was
That's
actually
right.
there, and y'all getting the true story straight from their mouth, man, here on the Bass Show, man. We thank y'all for joining. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. Let everybody know about MCADE, man. Let them know about the history of this bass thing. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification so you'll know every time we dropping content here on the Bass Show, man. And peace, we out.